That should run the whole hour.
Yeah. Now give me my theme music.
Not for the weak, you can't compete. Biggie back, Johnny, Moro Luciani. Must be bringing a couple guests.
We live?
We are live, man. We are live. And it's not Friday the 13th. It's not
But it's
enough
something
to know
like
you
it.
some spooky ass. Yeah, you was some spooky guests right now. You know what I mean? You know, you got Burrow Luciani, your man, the bully man, and then you got the original motherfucking hold on.
Original bully, nigga. We got the original bully today. Oh, one of our guests might be here.
Yeah, let me fix this camera. I'll fix it.
It's not. It's my camera rotating, but when I go on this app, it's not allowing it to rotate. Let me see if there's some settings on this.
There you go. Keep it like that. We'll probably be able to crop it. But yeah, man, we are here. We live right now. So while they figure out technical difficulties, you know, today's episode is a motherfucking horror legend unite. You know what I'm saying? We are here, y'all. Justice with Dre is an independent film that we created with Quad Daniels, of course. You know what I'm saying? We got to be part of his team. There goes the man, the myth, the legend. There you go. You know. There you go right there. Quad Daniels, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Absolutely amazing filmmaker, author, writer, director, producer, nigga, one man band, one man army. You know what I'm saying? Creative genius. And it's just an awesome episode to have horror legends unite. We got one emerging legend and one established legend. You know what I'm saying? So we're waiting on Ari right now, but we got Mr. Quad Daniels here. You know what I'm saying? Tell us about yourself, brother. Tell us what's going
on. Independent filmmaker, author, content creator, small business owner. Pretty much it. I mean, I'm making independent movies. I started off doing commercials, festivals, and events and things of that nature, honing my skills in, and naturally gravitated towards making movies because I initially started off as an author, so that's the reason I picked up the camera in the first place.
Tell us about your authorship. What was your first book?
Crumbs to Bricks.
Crumbs to Bricks. What's that about?
It's a crime drama in the likes of somebody like, say, Donald Goins or Iceberg Slim. It's a street book.
Yeah, that's amazing, dog. Hey, this guy right here is one of my mentors. You know what I'm saying? Very inspiring person to me. Talk to this nigga daily. You know what I'm saying? About filmmaking and everything. Just learn it's life in general. You know what I mean? So let's talk about the reason the film had to exist in the first place. Before there was a camera, a cast, or production schedule, what was the feeling or injustice inside that made you make Taboo, Justice for Dre, necessary?
It's content that we can all familiarize ourselves with. You know what I mean? It's something that touch a lot of us. If it doesn't touch you, then somebody else is touched. Racism and police brutality. It's always going to exist. And the sooner we start shedding light on it and addressing it, the more aware we are of its existence. So going into Taboo, I wanted to make a movie that was doable. So anytime I'm doing an independent film, that's the first thing that I assess. Is it doable? Do I have the resources to do this? Do I have the locations? Do I have the right actors? Once I figure out that it's doable, 'cause like I said, I'm an author first. So I've got a lot of stories. I've got some stories that I'll never be able to do because I'll never have that kind of budget unless I do get that kind of budget. But like I said, doing something that's doable where, I've worked with you before on Body Bag. I knew you can handle this character. The other people that I've worked with on other projects, I knew that I can bring them in. I knew that they would be reliable, dependable, and they were all like-minded thinkers. So
Mhm.
us going in on this, we did a few rehearsals, back in January, and this is actually the fastest I've ever shot a movie. We've started this thing. The initial camera started in February. We started rehearsals in January, but we're, basically done with this movie. We've got two more scenes to do. Both of them are, very minute. Could probably knock those out in a good day or two. So
Yeah, that's
we're gonna
awesome,
be
man.
wrapping this thing up here in a minute and getting it out to our audience.
That's awesome, brother. So, with the meaning of taboo, what does the word taboo represent in this story? Is it something society refuses to discuss, something the characters refuse to confront, or something the
Yeah, I
audience
mean,
refuses to admit?
the title in itself is taboo. You know what I mean? It's like taboo is like these are things that you don't talk about. These are things that, are considered taboo to even talk about. You can't freely, openly talk about racial equality. You can't freely talk about racism, prejudice, without it ruffling a few feathers.
Right. Okay.
So if you're talking about things, the injustices that happen to, us as minorities, it's considered taboo in certain rooms to even talk about it because it's going to offend some people, and it's only offending them because it's hitting close to home with them as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
They either you condoned it or you reject it. A lot of people tend to condone it just so that they can, stay in their own groups.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. That's awesome. So let's talk about I guess the psychology of the Bawan. Baron Criminal is the character in which you, I wouldn't say created, but remodified. You know what I mean? You made your
Right,
own
right.
version of him. He comes from the Haitian Loa. So, in your own words, who is Bawan Criminal to you psychologically? A monster, a judge, a wounded spirit, an agent of consequence, or all those all at once?
A little bit of all of them. I mean, for the most part, his main purpose for existence is the balancer of scales.
Yeah.
So if something's done wrong, it's his job to balance those scales. So I did a little bit of research on it, trying to figure out exactly who this character is, who the Loa is, what's the difference between the West Indies version as opposed to the New Orleans version of this same similar
You hear me?
religion. So
Yeah.
creating this character, I knew I wanted to do a horror thing because I wanted to get that in my portfolio first off. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I've done a lot of hood street movies and stuff like that, and really I'm just now trying to bend the corner and create some stuff that's a little bit more challenging. I can write a lot of this hood stuff in my sleep. You know what I mean? It's elementary because we live it. But
Yes, sir.
like creating a character that's its sole purpose is to get vengeance, its sole purpose is to, correct a wrong. That was going to be challenging. So I knew when I created this character, we had to take, a page out of Freddy Krueger or the Leprechaun. This this character needed to talk. He had to be
Yeah.
able to talk. This wasn't just like a silent killer that walks around and he's murdering people. With this character, you actually understand his motivation. It's what you would call what would you call it? I guess you would call it a character that is killing people, but you're rooting for him to kill people because you know the purpose of as to why he's killing people. He's just not catching a girl walking down a dark alley and jumping out and killing her. You know what I mean?
It's an
If he kills
anti
you,
villain.
yeah, if he kills you, it's a reason why he killed you. And with everyone he kills, he lets them know why he killed them. That way the audience can watch it and be like, yeah, that is the reason why you got killed. You did do that, you know?
By definition, it's an anti villain. So Bauer would be
Correct.
an anti villain. Yes, sir.
Correct.
I love that. All right. Now, my question, unless you got one, Burrow, right now, I would say creating this, like you say, you're drifting genres. You're drifting genres, and you can drift. You're very good at bending stories. You're very good at telling stories. So it doesn't matter what genre you pick, right? With this one, making the audience morally uncomfortable is it's actually really impressive, right? Do you want viewers to fear the Bawan, understand him, root for him, or become uncomfortable when they realize that they're doing all three?
I think it would depend on the viewer, you know? Some people are going to root for you from some people are going to feel bad for you, you know, because it's very tragic. And then you got some people that's going to root for you, and then there's got to be some people that's going to root against you because of the content. You know, when we started putting this thing together, that's the first thing that I talked to you about. I said either this mug gonna be big or they gonna blackball our ass. They're not gonna want to see this. You know what I mean? They're gonna be like,
Yeah.
no, they can't have this black dude running around killing all these white people.
White people. That was the first thing you
So
did say.
it,
Yeah.
it was a gamble. It was a roll of the dice. You know, I can stay in my safe place and do, you know, like body bag and hood stuff. I can stay there. But I thought, you know, why not, you know, roll the dice? It's 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 content that my same viewers from body bag will still watch because they can get some of the stuff that they like to see as far as like, you know, the drama, the hood stuff. They get to see all of that stuff, but then they get a twist to it because the Bawan comes at you almost like dusk till dawn. You don't see it coming. You
Right.
don't see it. You don't realize you're in a horror movie until you're in a horror movie.
Right. That's
You know,
amazing.
so that's
Mm.
that's where we at with that.
Okay. Well, I got a question with that
Yo,
as an independent filmmaker. My bad. Go ahead. You ready, bro? You had a question?
nah, God, get your
My
shit
bad.
off, bro.
My bad. My bad. I thought you was talking. All right. Well, the limitation I had to ask was about making this movie, right? Because being an independent filmmaker, and as my man always says, a guerrilla style filmmaker. You know what I'm saying? It has it can also make a production better. You know what I mean? Sometimes because you have to be creative and use your imagination. So when independent productions are forced to adapt constantly,
Right.
what limitation on Taboo initially felt like a problem, but ultimately made the movie more creative for you?
I never really seen any problems with it. You know what I mean? I've been figured out that you can't throw money at a problem to fix it. So that's not, you know, creativity is always going to, and with me being the actual writer, I get to see it before other people see it. I get to imagine it before other people imagine it. So I work out all the kinks during the writing phase. You know, I never start a project that I don't think that I can complete. You know,
Right.
I'm not in a habit of starting and not finishing. So what I do is I knew I had access to you. I knew I had access to the other actors. I knew I had access to, you know, certain locations.
Yeah.
So I mean, as an independent filmmaker, you got your pluses and you got your minuses. Could I make a lot better movie if I had a budget? Sure. But the
Right.
budget is not the defining factor when it comes to making a movie. You know, just having like minded people in the same room and on set, that's what you need to make a, you know, content. You know, it'd be great to have a budget where you can, you know, hire a makeup artist or you can hire a, you know, special effects guy, you know,
Right.
all that stuff would be great to add into the equation. But if you don't got that stuff, then you learn how to do that stuff. I do all the makeup, I do all the blood, I do all the FX and stuff like that, because I don't believe in letting anything stop the production. The production comes before everything and everybody, So there's no such thing as a brick wall. You either climb over it or you go around it or you bust through it, one or the other. But you're not going to stand in front of a brick wall and just stick your thumb up your ass and wait for the next thing to happen.
Absolutely, man. And you brought up makeup. You brought up special effects. He brought up makeup. So not only do my man do everything, man. Not only do my man do writing, directing, acting, producing, and all that good shit, but he does makeup. He does makeup. And he did the makeup for About One Criminal, and he did a very good job. I was surprised at how good the nigga was. So from there, I want to know you finding an unforgettable image, like you know what I mean. You're trying to create an everlasting cult classic type of style. Basically, every horror film has an image audiences carry home with them.
Right.
Without spoiling the movie, without spoiling the story, what's the emotional or visual image in Taboo that will you believe will become its like boy rising from the lake moment, like in Jason?
I think well, this is purely psychological. The color contrast for your makeup, the black and white, it does something to people psychologically. So, like, me and you've been out and filming, and regular bystanders walk past you and they see you and they scared shitless of you. They've jumped back and everything else. It's the color contrast. It goes all the way back to, like, if you've seen The Exorcist, when they did the makeup on the main demon, it was black and white and it was similar to yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's similar to that skull look. You know what I mean? And somewhere deep down in our psyche, that affects people, that actual look. So I knew going in the door, the makeup would do its part. Now all we really needed to do was set up the proper jump scares with the proper stings. And it's like every time you pop out on somebody, you're going to get a jump scare out of them. And as people look at you, making you a character that actually talks.
Yeah.
And that's even scarier. And what makes it even scarier is you've got this continuous laugh that you do every scene. It goes back to the Bawan and the lower. These are very loud, boisterous people. They drink, they smoke, they get by talking. You don't just, these are characters that talk. So us having you talk, us having the makeup on, us setting the mood before we actually have you kill someone. We don't just have you jump out and kill somebody. It's a tempo. And we try to make it to where every time you kill someone, they never see it coming until you're there killing them.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I like to throw this in there. You as an actor, you did a phenomenal job. Like you did everything I asked of you. You was, dedicated, reliable, dependable. There was nothing that you wasn't willing to do to make the character a little rougher. I mean, a little bit better. So when you had to get rough, you kind of didn't pull no punches. You damn near, I got some beat up actors and shit that you done put hands on.
Facts. Right. Shout out to Jim and Holly.
Right.
But nah, I get it, man. It was my pleasure, bro. It was my first, I've done Body Bag Ohio with you, which is a phenomenal TV show right now on Tubi and Amazon Prime, 8 million, and it's 14 million streams and counting. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go watch that. Season 2's in the making. So that was like my first time really having a director sit down with me, work with me, nurture me, get me on camera. And then he like, hey, I got a main role for you. And I'm thinking it's gonna be another hood role. Like I'm like, oh nigga, I got everything for that. I got a new gun. What's up? What we doing? No. And that's what I love about working with directors like him. He's always thinking, challenging, thinking about something different. Like I said, this genre is wide open, and he has so many ideas that it's like amazing to see flourish. Like to get this done and say, "Yo, we're actually done with this." Like We got a couple
Yeah.
more scenes that don't even matter, but like we're done. We're done with the horror movie, bro. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a great feeling when we wrap,
Yeah.
we started it and we finished it. I mean, and that's another thing that, I like to say, like, working with you on body bag. Well, any of my actors that I work with, it's really like a rehearsal. I mean, it's like an audition, really. The first movie that I put you in is an audition. I want to see what you can do. I want to see what your mannerisms is. I want to see what your, how you move, how you talk, how you walk. I want to see all that stuff because then I identify your strengths and I identify your weaknesses.
yes,
Once I
sir.
identify your strengths, that's all I focus on is how can we make him a stronger actor? Like, we've got actors, like I've got one actor, he's extremely shy. This
Yeah,
dude, like he's like so shy that you would not want to put him in a movie because it's like, what is he going to do in the movie? But then once you realize he's extremely shy and then you write a character that's extremely shy, he looks like an acting genius.
absolutely,
So that's
absolutely,
one of the things that I really try my best to identify what my actor is capable of doing. As soon as I identify what they're capable of doing, that allows me as a writer to tap into, getting better, great performances out of a person.
absolutely, man. You do a great job as a director. I've seen take molded raw clay, you know what I'm saying, and be able to carve up something that's like wow, like you know what I'm saying, and that just shows your patience with the actors, and with that being that directing realism inside this mythology, you got actors that are playing characters that are larger than life. How do you keep the performance emotionally truthful without shrinking the mythology when you made the Bawan?
How do I keep the performance?
Yeah, how do you keep the performances emotionally truthful without shrinking the mythology? Because the Bawan, the Haitian people, like we went to Miami to film as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big culture that they expect the Bawan to be the Bawan. You know what I mean?
Well, I hope the research that I did is on point.
Right.
Uh, and then moving forward, I know there's probably, I mean, there's a lot of movies. Well, there's not a lot of movies actually when you're dealing with Haitian and Creole mythology and stuff like that. There's not a lot of them. You got Serpent in the Rainbow. You've got, they did a little something on 007 James
Right.
Bond. You've got the American Horror Stories where they did a little something in there, but it's like, that's not like and again, it goes back to taboo. This is like one of them things that you don't talk about. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I'm hoping that I didn't offend anybody. I'm hoping that I didn't go in the wrong direction. But moving forward, this is something that could easily be a franchise, just like with any of the horror franchises. It can be a franchise. So I imagine somebody's going to get in my inbox or my email and be like, hey, this is my culture, my religion, yada, yada. I'd like to work with you on the writing phase of it so that you can, tweak a couple things, get a couple more things correct, this, that, and the other. And then, because I mean, at the end of the day, movies are collaborations. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I wear a lot of hats when it comes to making the movies and stuff like that, but I'd like to alleviate some of those hats. Like, like I've been talking to you earlier today, Christian, I would love to start delegating tasks to you. That's why I
Yeah.
keep you real close to me. So you're a sponge. You learn shit quick. So it's like, damn, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And it's like, we've got all these different situations going on. I would love to be like, hey, I can't personally do it, but I do got a guy that's highly qualified that can do it, which would allow me to continue doing what I've got to do. So that even goes back to even the writing phase. I write all these stories, but I would love to sit in the room with 4 other people and be like, hey, buddy, you're a comedian. Where do you think we can inject some comedy at? You're a drama writer. Where do you think we can get more people crying at on this thing? Your
Yeah.
action, your thriller. It's having those other people in the room and be able to collaborate with them is what's going to give you an overall better project. And like I said from the beginning, the project and the production supersedes everyone, even myself. I'll
Amen.
organize the shit, but the project itself is its own entity. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes,
And
sir.
I'm almost just like, I consider myself the caregiver of the project. It's my job to look over that project from beginning to end. Make sure that my baby is dressed for school. She gets on the bus. She goes to school, and daddy is right there waiting on her to get off the bus when she comes home. That's
Right,
my,
right.
I'm the caregiver, you know?
I love that, man. I love that. Well, let's talk about real quick. While we wait on Ari. Let's talk about your other ventures you just started. KO Midwest Distribution.
Um, we actually started me and you actually partnered up and started a distribution company. And the purpose of that was I've been blessed when it comes to Body Bag. Body Bag is licensed to over 20 something streaming platforms. It's doing great numbers on every streaming platform. And with that in mind, my distributor brokered a deal with me. We didn't even ask for a distribution deal, but now it's like my distributor's like, hey, do you have any other projects that you're confident in that we can bypass the thing of are people watching it and having to have opinions about it. It's almost like they trust my judgment enough to where I say, hey, this is a hit. We need to, get this on the platform. So now being in distribution, we're capable of rolling back and reaching out to people and being like, hey, bro, you got this platform. It's a, I mean, you got this content. It's great content, but the likelihood of you getting on one of these streaming platforms is slim next to none because all of them are charging outrageous amounts of money to even do the most minute shit like closed captioning, quality control, and stuff of that nature. We've bypassed all that stuff to where it's now like someone can come to me and say, hey, Quai, I've got this great movie, this, that, another. I did it. It's been sitting on the shelf for the last 6 months or a year. I'm almost thinking about putting it on YouTube. And then I'm there to say, hey, don't do that. Let me check it out. Let me talk to my people. Let's see if we can get you on a streaming platform because whether if I like your project, you like their project, or we're sitting in a room with 10 other people that like or don't like the project. Movies, art, music is all subjectable.
Right.
It's all about who's watching it and who's listening. I like movies that don't nobody else like. I love blaxploitations. I love low budget grindhouse style movies. You know what I mean? I
Right.
like bad acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like this kind of shit. So it's other people that won't watch something because they say, hey, it's got to be on a certain tier. And that's fine. You'll find those type of content creators that you can appease those viewers with by finding, that level of stuff. But there's nothing that's good. Put it like this. There's no content that you can create that you can actually say that it's bad because it's all on the viewer to make that decision. That's not my job to say something is good or bad unless I'm the viewer. Right
Right.
now, I'm the distributor. So my
Yeah.
job is to get it out in front of other people so that they can say if it's good or bad.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing, man. Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We got to get that going. I got a question about basically we get back to the taboo since we're waiting on Ari. I don't know where he at. But with that being said, what's mainstream horror? What do they get wrong? Like, what do you believe modern mainstream horror has become too dependent upon? And what did you do deliberately to refuse to imitate while making Taboo?
I think me personally, a lot of people do like it. I don't like. I think a horror for me it evolves around practical effects. It evolves around someone saying, "Hey, we're gonna get this whole room bloody. We're gonna rip his arm off. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that." To where you have something that somewhat looks like it could actually happen
Yeah.
as opposed to you watch a lot of the new horror. They really rely on the build up, the stinger, and the CGI.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, like if I'm watching the CGI, that's what breaks the illusion. That's what lets me know that I'm watching a movie when I see something that doesn't register.
Yeah.
If I'm watching practical and watching a movie with practical effects and it's like blood squirting and you've got makeup, you've got actual wounds and stuff like that. That's something that I can be like, yeah, that could possibly happen. But
Right.
if I'm watching a movie and it's like the CGI is all over the place and stuff, it kind of makes me it takes away the fear of it. That's one thing. I really don't know because most of the movies that I watch are older. You know what I mean? Most of the horror movies that I watch are older. So watching the newer horror movies and I haven't really seen a lot of them. I watched a little bit of that movie, the Terrifier,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they've got like three versions of that, and it's they've created a franchise with it and stuff. But myself personally, I really couldn't get too much into it.
Absolutely. I
I
never
was
could either.
not I was not seeing what I believe is the most important part when it comes to making a movie, and its story.
That's
Mm.
not a
Story is the
horror
most
movie. That's a
important part.
fucking.
When you're crafting your characters and you're giving this audience tidbits of what your character would and wouldn't do. Now you're invested in this character, so now you're in this story with the character. So if we kill this character off, it affects you. If I put a character up there and we kill this character
Right.
immediately, you have no investment in that. So it's like it doesn't really affect you outside of if it's some other than it's like some really gross killing.
Yeah. That's it.
So
That's a good point, man.
All right. Well, I would like to take the time. I would like to take the time out and just say that
oh shit,
I
Burrow,
am a
you still
fan.
here?
I'm still
Are you
here.
still here, big brother?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Look, you gotta understand, brother. I have to let my mentors and the niggas that I'm soaking up game from spit game. And you know me, I'm always in the background smoking. So
Right.
I'm just here just to actually like give the flowers and let you know that I love your work, brother. I love the fact that you have such a good eye and the meaning behind this movie that I'm so blessed to be a part of and to see you complete and my brother like develop a character and you develop a cult classic. It's amazing. And I would like to give you your flowers, my brother, because this
I
movie
appreciate it, bro.
means
Yes, sir,
more.
man. That's,
I
that's
feel
bold.
like
That's
I
bold,
think
man.
we even know, and I think the the timing at any given time for our culture
Yep.
needs this movie. So
Yep.
every time something happens in our culture, this movie should be brought up. You
The
know what I
ball
mean?
on
Yeah.
is, you
So
feel me?
I feel like you did something amazing. The Bawan is first of all, I love the Haitian, that whole culture. I just love
Right.
a dark skinned woman that can speak French for real. But I love Haitians though. You know what I mean? Like the New Orleans, like get up and everything. And like the way that my brother, of course, my nigga leans and he did his thing, but the way that you guys work together and y'all work so closely on this,
Mhm,
and y'all traveled and y'all brought people in, and
mhm.
the magic that happened, we gotta like people understand. I was there just as like yo, I wanted to hold the light, I wanted to be support. Niggas
Right.
needed something, I was there. I wasn't really there to play a part. But I also seen a developed character. I've seen magic happen on literal, like it looked
Yeah.
like magic on set.
Facts.
So I already know between what I know what between what my man's court, what my man's could do, and what it's gonna look like at the end.
Yeah.
It's gonna be worth it.
Yeah,
And
You
I just
you
want to say
you was
before
actually
anybody gets,
you
before I even get to really,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
guy,
Yeah, I was gonna say you was actually scared on that one scene that we did to where it was
The
like
first
we
one
at
without
with
saying
the
too much of
fire.
at
what
first,
happened. Like I
at
look
first,
over at Burrow and he rubbing his cross. He like, hold on,
like
bro.
this,
I'll tell
Because the
everybody what
scene
happened.
the
like this,
scene like
because
it
you
it
gotta understand,
organic
like
it organically did something that like it was like none of that was planned that happened, but it happened.
Yeah, yeah, and y'all burned my
nope,
picture, nigga. And
none of
I'm,
that
I'm
was
telling it
there.
right
Like it
now.
just
I'll tell it
wasn't
right now.
happening. Why? Man,
Nah,
yeah, he took the
it's gonna be
chance, and like
amazing.
some of the
It's
scenes
gonna be
that look
amazing.
like CGI is probably going to be like the
Nah,
natural look of the movie. Like this
facts, yeah.
movie, it could be made 100 times, and the
After this,
killings
yeah.
are just gonna get better because you know what?
Hmm.
This is the first 7, 8, 9 kills,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
and niggas gotta go.
They out of
Anybody
here.
can get it because
I
in
imagine
the
I imagine
Barwan criminal, it's not about
Go ahead, man.
yeah.
I would imagine that, maybe 10 years from now, we'll all be getting a call to where it's like, some major studios, they want to buy the rights to Taboo and they want to bring in these seasoned actors and they want to put a huge budget behind it because that's what we're actually doing as independent filmmakers. We're generating ideals that are so creative that Hollywood looks at it and they say, okay, what if we put a little bit of money behind this? What if we put, a seasoned actor in there to do this and stuff like that? So that's what we're actually doing. We're trying to do what like how you see now. You see all of the 80s horrors, they're all getting remade.
Yep.
These are all
All of them.
great movies. These are all movies that, you've got some young filmmaker that says, "Hey, I would love to remake Friday the 13th. I would love to remake Nightmare on Elm Street. I would love to remake Halloween. Halloween's been remade a
Plenty of
hundred
times.
times without John Carpenter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But
that would
think
be
about how
something.
many people in the hood is gonna feel this though. Like how many people in
Oh
the
yeah.
how many baby mothers or how many black mothers is gonna feel
Yeah.
this movie because it's just
Yeah,
it's taboo, but
This case, this,
the
this
message is
particular
just
case is about Dre.
Dre.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, there's going to be a lot of
the
people that's going to feel it because everybody, to some extent or another, has been profiled or read the wrong way. You know what I mean? So it's
right,
it's the kind of topic that everybody has a little bit of knowledge on. It's like you haven't walked through this world without experiencing some sort of racism. And it can be
Absolutely.
from the smallest thing to the largest
right.
thing. It can be, you at the airport and you're seeing somebody getting preferential treatment, but then you get up there and you give your ID and then you getting all this bullshit. Doing all the extra shit with you.
I
So it's
think, to
like,
be honest, if we can go
Right.
deeper, I think it's bigger than racism. I think it's just any injustice. I think it's just like if you can't get justice for some wrongdoing, we have so many people in the world where it's big pharma billionaires or presidents or governments, whoever you can't touch, whoever can do you wrong and get away with it. This is
yeah,
like that type of something, like, you know what I mean? This is like a movie for them. You know what I mean?
yeah, you can't get justice, and you've got several different camera angles showing you exactly what happened, and they still spin it to a way to where it's like the grand jury has decided not to indict,
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
you've got this family, friends, mother, father, son left with this gaping hole. One of the main things that made me want to do this story is the thing that's going on down in Cincinnati. With the
Yeah.
with the guy, his son gets killed,
Yeah, he
then
do.
he's got to watch this video and he's got to be in this predicament, and and he probably did what any father would do. I'm not saying he did the right thing, but he
Oh,
probably
absolutely.
did what any father would do. you
Right.
know
Absolutely.
so this is one of them situations to where it's like so much shit happens to us, but we always feel like we're supposed to kumbaya that shit, or we're supposed to go pray on it. What happens when enough is enough? What happens when people start looking at alternative routes to get justice? You know?
It's
And that's
crazy.
what happened in this story. She could not get justice. She kept butting her head up against the wall. And it's like, how do I rectify this situation? She
Yep.
had to go through extreme measures to rectify. She had to do something that most people wouldn't imagine doing, going
Yep.
to a witch doctor, you
Yeah.
know? So it's one of them things where it's like it affects a lot of us, some more than others. But at the same time, it's like this one of them. It's a movie. It's all entertainment. Don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating for nobody to
Yes, he
start
is.
going kill motherfuckers and shit like that. It's a movie, and you got to put that out there because when we make movies, they think it's something different as opposed to when they make movies. They can make
When
Amistad
we
and all
make
these other fucking
music, when
movies
we
and shit, and it's
express
like,
ourselves,
What'd you
what you
say?
say, bro?
is when we make music or even express ourselves. Is what I mean. It's the
Yep.
same. It's the
Yeah, yeah,
same
yeah.
outcome. So
It's gravy when you're making music about, exploitation and the destruction of our communities and stuff. But you get one of them rappers that come out and he's uplifting, positive, and educating and stuff like that. They shut him straight down. They don't give him no airtime. They don't put no money in his pocket, And from my understanding, because I'm a little bit older and stuff, that's what rap music originally started out being, a way to
Uh,
educate and uplift. Somewhere
rebel
along the
music.
lines,
Yeah.
during NWA era and shit like that, you got these rich Jewish motherfuckers that say, shit, this might be a better way to,
Kill him.
do something. So let's let these dudes talk about the most horrific shit. Hopefully we got some young impressionable motherfucker that's riding around listening to this shit, and then he starts to act on it. And then,
Yep.
we've got a bunch of other shit that's into the equation with these private prisons and shit like that. Rap music and the private prisons, they're like fucking cousins. You know what I mean? They both have the
Facts.
same agenda. You know what I mean?
That literally was my next question. I was like horror versus real world pain. Damn, y'all prophesying. Y'all prophesying. Basically, I was saying, how do you use horror to
it's
confront?
taboo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my fault, my fault. But how do you use horror to confront a
It's
real
taboo.
life injustice without exploiting suffering merely for shock value? And shit, you gave an answer already with that. Pretty much,
Yeah.
like, take some real shit and flip it around. That's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
Well,
I love why I love this, I really, 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 really love this, like this movie, because it's like it really has a message behind it. You know
Yeah.
oh
how like
yeah,
you go and you watch movies on
Mm-hmm.
Tubi and you're like, well, why? But why? You can
Right.
see this movie where your homegirls are watching and they be like, well, bitch,
why you
why
watch?
she at the witch doctor? Because like, yo, right? See, what happened was
Exactly,
it was a
right,
nigga
right,
named Dre, and then but
Right.
what happened? The nigga dead, bitch.
yeah,
And now we here.
right.
It's easy to follow. Then on top of that, it's also easy to see where it's like the origin of Bar Noir, right?
Yeah,
Then it's
Right.
also like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, like, yo, you can show, you can make money off the nigga. You know what I mean? The nigga is like scary. The nigga's scary, but he also has that look where it's like like, yo, I might want this nigga's action figure, bro. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
yeah,
Yo,
yeah,
like this
yeah.
is
yeah.
fire.
Tell him,
Like,
Burrow. You
so
feel me?
I'm
And that's
I'm
something
just,
like
you
that's something
know,
amazing to where you feel like
it's one of
you
those
got something
things.
good enough to franchise it, and then you got something good enough to do merchandise. Because I didn't
Yeah,
try to do any merch or anything like that with Body
there
Bag
you go.
outside of shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. But with the refractor, that's the type of character to where you can see action figures, you can see
Yeah.
video games, you can see an animation in the mix. And that's the same way with, Taboo. You can see those type of extra revenue coming in off of just other stuff. You can see taking this story and tapering it all the way down because there is a message in the story. So if we were to create this on a children's level and take the violence out of it, because the Bawan, he's constantly teaching and educating people this, that, and the other. And the story in itself is exposing things. So this is something that could probably be turned into an animation. And I
Yep.
kind of would like it. I'd like it as two different animations. One animation for children, one animation
It
as an
would be
as
amazing
adult anime.
because
Can
you
you
got to
imagine
understand
that being
this
able
is
to
a character. This is a character, brother, that it's a cause, an
Big money.
effect, and a consequence.
Yeah.
And
right?
in everything in life, it's a lesson to be learned at the end
Yeah,
of this movie.
Whether little
And
kids,
it's
yeah.
just like and the character that is being played, it, first of all, Jeff is amazing.
Thanks,
And
right.
guys.
it's brought to life because it's maybe why it doesn't know 100% where he went, and that's why he's not trying to be disrespectful. But you see it. You
Yeah.
see where it could go into deep, deep, dark roots, and where or it could be a cute, friendly little, cute
Yeah.
little fucking
Yeah.
anime
Yep.
teaching cute little
Keep-
lessons. But then as you
Keep
read the
little
comic
lessons.
books and watch the movies, they get darker.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Right.
like
Right.
everything. Everything starts out like either real dark and then they make it nice and cute and yay, or they vice versa. And this is where I feel like it's very you could go either way. And I
Right.
love the character. I love the movie. Like I said, it's not just because I'm a part of it, it's because when I read the script, right, I'm like, first of all, I tried to get tied in. I called my brother. I'm like, I gotta get tied in with the New
Come
Orleans
on,
niggas. He's
son.
like, no, nigga, you're from Ohio. You're from Cincinnati, Ohio. We gotta go. Like
He wanted to wear a
that's
Saints
the character
jersey,
you're
a
playing.
Saints hat. Be like, yo, baby. Like, no, you're not doing none of
Doing
that. You
all
gonna
of
be
this
from
shit, like bro, talking New Orleans, like, come on,
no,
Horty, what you
no,
doing with me? You know you're not
no.
supposed to be around
Don't do
here
none of
now.
that. Don't do none of that. None of that. Yeah, he did awesome, man. My brother did great.
You
I
know
was
what I
very
mean?
proud
But
of Burrow.
I'm just
Yeah.
thinking like, yo, but
No, I was,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
very proud of you, bro. I was very
Burrow,
proud of
you
you,
you
man.
but
you did you did
I
so well
believe
that
in the characters.
we was actually talking the other day about where do we take Burrow now?
Come on.
And I've already got the perfect character for you. I've already worked on this. I actually wrote this story about 2 years ago, and you're gonna love this. It's a modern day take on Woodstock, but it's a horror,
Yeah.
and it's actually a slasher horror.
Like,
So I'm not only going into horror, but I'm trying to go into each. Like this would be considered supernatural. The one that I'm talking to you about, that's considered a slasher.
Yeah. Jason, nigga.
And I want to go into all of the types of horror. We're gonna still keep doing what we're doing when it comes to Body Bag and creating, because with Body Bag, they love it for some reason or another. They love it worldwide. You know what I mean? Like we get
that's how
a
you
ton
reel
of
the
views from.
niggas in. Hold on, that's how you reel the niggas in. Like, yo, listen, this is how you reel the niggas in, right? Real quick, boy. So when you in jail, right? You
Uh-huh.
got like the cartels, and you got Animal, and what else? What else? The shit you got those books, right? But once you read those books and you start reading them like fucking them real deep books of like like spells and shit, and like your mind starts working and shit. Yeah, then
Hey, nigga, buy one
you get
book.
the feel of what's going on.
I
Yeah,
feel you
you
though.
literally because that's
Hey,
what
nigga, be that
body
bitch like,
bags
nah,
fucking
I see it. I see it, bro. Nah, I feel you. You
that's
right.
how that's what happened because just the fact that I knew Qua, I knew you, and I knew a couple people that was in body bag season. I'm like, let me watch this nigga's work. Oh, okay, he on Tubi, but it's not really a Tubi-ish movie. This is not
Facts.
Tubi-ish.
Facts.
You
At
know what I
all.
mean? And then
Hey,
you start going through. So it's like it's one of those books where it's like you gotta give it a read, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you reel him in with the body bag. You reel him in with the body bag too, like, oh, all right, maybe I
yeah.
could be in one of these things, and then bam, you hit him with some
Supernatural movie.
Harry Potter type
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, he's like, where did we go? Where are we
Right,
going?
right, right. How do we get
I
here?
love it. I
I
love it.
remember when you called
I
me.
love it.
You called me out the blue, right? And you called me and you hit me with the typical New York guy stuff. Like you super animated, extremely hyper. But then you hit me with the lines like, yo, son, I'm not trying to swing on your nuts or nothing because normally I'm like, fuck a nigga, fuck his family, this, that, and the other. But yo, this shit is nice. And I'm like, did he just give me an insult or a
Yeah,
motherfucking
it
compliment?
was the highest compliment.
Hey, and then it's like I'm like because I know a few New York cats and stuff. Like I got a couple cats that's from New York, so it wasn't like it was throwing me off or anything. But I'm like, I like his energy, I like his vibe. We
Yeah.
started communicating and talking more and more and stuff like that because I'd always heard of you. I know you wanted the coldest battle rappers around this motherfucker. You
Come
know what I
on
mean?
now.
And
Yes, sir.
I didn't actually seen you slay a few motherfuckers. So it's like I know you dope with that, but then to actually get to kick it with you and meet you and be like, he down to earth, he humbled and he eager, he
Yeah,
hungry, he got that type of vibe to where it's like you're gonna make it work. You know what I mean? Like I've been watching your
absolutely.
podcast for a while and stuff like that, and I'm like, one thing I can say about you, you consistent.
Yes,
You
sir.
consistent. There's no reason why you can't reach every goal you want to reach because you're consistent. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
So with that in mind, I support you wholeheartedly. You know what I
Facts.
mean?
Facts. Facts, brother. That's what I'm saying, man. Hey,
Likewise, man.
we talking about? We
Likewise.
talking about? Since we talking about body bag, man.
Ari's on his way.
He on his way? Okay, about that goddamn time, Ari. But since we got a little time left, talk about body bag. You brought up the refractor. You brought up some shit. So I don't know what your discography is. What your films are. Can you give us a little elaboration on what you've done so far?
My first movie I did was The Refractor. So like I said, I've been writing since junior high. I was what they was considered in high school as a young author, you
Mhm.
know? So they had me in a little program to where it's like we would go to these little classes and they would give you a couple ideas of what it is that they wanted you to, that these was this is the location, this is the situation, write a story about it, you
Yeah.
know, and I would always write some stories that got the attention of the teachers and stuff like that. So then, everybody got a checker pass, you know what I mean? I've been incarcerated before and stuff like that. So when I was in there, I had a bunkie that he was writing books and stuff, and it's like everybody is acting like this dude's so cold. And I read his book, it's like this seems like a motherfucking marketing campaign because all you're doing is naming fashions and streets and cities and cars and shit. There's no story in there.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that. So we had a little what you would consider a book write-off. And that's when I wrote my first book, Crumbs to Bricks.
Okay.
And that book actually went around that whole compound. And I wrote it in handwritten. So by the time I got it back, it was fucking balled up and everything. But it went around that entire compound, you know? So I was
Yeah.
like, maybe I got something here, you know? So
Yeah.
I started really applying myself because normally I was just applying myself to the streets, and that's what got me in there in the first place. So I was like, okay, let's try a different avenue. So when I came home, I dove straight into writing books, and I never stopped writing. I write every day. So even if I'm not writing on Taboo, I'm writing something, whether it be just, I have moments to where I'll just see a situation and I'll write a situation. I have no idea where I'm going to put this at, no story for it to go in or not, but it's just a situation.
Smart.
That's one of the things that, people that watch my movies, that's one of the compliments that I get. That's my greatest compliment that I feel is when somebody tells me they don't feel like they watching a movie. They feel like they just observing a situation, because
Yeah.
I never have y'all say cliche dialogue. I never have y'all overact. It's more along the lines of, I want my audience to have almost like a voyeurism perspective
Yeah.
into this movie. They shouldn't be seeing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's the last thing you want to do, is break the illusion that this is a movie. You want people to be like, this is real life.
Yeah. I get it, man. That's dope. Well, nigga, name. What about the movies you made? You didn't name them yet.
Oh yeah, well, we did The Refractor. That was the first movie. And then I went on to do Once Upon a Time in Youngstown.
Okay.
And then I went on to do Cam's Story.
Okay.
And then we went into Body Bag, Ohio. By the time we got into Body Bag, Ohio, I felt like I'd figured out my style when it came to writing and filming and
Yeah.
editing as well. So now I feel like Body Bag was not as big as a venture as I initially thought it was, because we're 9 episodes in the Body Bag. Most episodes are 40, 45 minutes long. This is like a lot of content, but it's
Yeah.
with Body Bag, it doesn't seem as long because it's all familiar to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we go into Taboo, which is, well, actually, we tried to work on a project before then that she was going to be the lead actor in. That was Buckets of Blood.
Piss me
And
off.
that was my interpretation of a vampire dealing with gentrification. So when it comes to my stories, there's always something in there that where it's like I'm educating,
Yeah.
so we didn't actually get to do that. A couple different variables, but we're still going to work on that. We didn't get to actually do it because a couple different variables made us postpone once or twice. And then this was a movie that was based on season.
Yeah.
So if you lost the season, you lost it, altogether.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so critical for us to do Bawan in the time frame that we did it in, like for Taboo. It was critical that we have this thing done within 5 to 6 months.
Right.
And we made that deadline with the 6 months, because if we go any further past the 6 months, we're going into fall. So now I got to write new scenes to explain to the audience why we started off in spring and now we're all the way in fall. I can make spring and summer look like the same season, but I can't make fall and winter I can't make all the seasons look the same.
Absolutely. That makes sense. Well, with that being said, you learned a lot from this film as far as about yourself and filmmaking. What did directing this film force you to confront about yourself as an artist, a leader, or a man?
What did it force me to recognize about myself?
Yeah, either recognize or confront about yourself.
Push come to shove, I will let my nuts hang. Because there's a good possibility to buy one. It's a good possibility that this motherfucker might get blackballed. Like I told you from the jump, it might be too much for some people,
Yeah,
So,
I like
I
that.
mean, I did that with full confidence because I know I can always go back to body bag and do that shit. You know what I mean? It's almost like you stepping in somebody else's realm, and if it don't
Yeah,
work out, you can go back to body bag and
yeah,
work on
yeah.
that
I
shit
get it
again.
though. I get it. I get it.
But
I mean, honestly, I took a lot of nuts. You asked me before. You was like, "Hey, listen, the role you gonna play is gonna be kind of controversial. You cool with it?" And I was like, "Sure, sure, why not?"
and then I mean, and one of the main things is like, and me and you talk about this stuff a lot. I don't care if somebody likes me or don't like me
Facts.
off of the stuff that I create. You know what I mean? I
Facts.
really
Facts.
don't care about that shit. So it's like if somebody to watch the movie, you're gonna love it. But to get that trailer to where it's almost like I kind of don't even want to put a trailer out on it because I don't want people to even know what it's about.
Yeah.
Because it's so controversial and it ruffles so many feathers. I almost want to paint the picture when it comes to the trailer and marketing to where it's like, oh, this is this. Then when you go watch it, it's that. Because
Right.
I think if you watch the first 5 minutes of it, you got audience retention. They're gonna watch the entire thing. You know what I mean?
A lot of times, yeah.
So getting them to enjoy the first 5 minutes of it, even if it's content that they normally necessarily won't like, and that being because the topic is very, very sensitive, outside of the fact that we develop and build a whole family around you.
Yeah.
These are all people that love and care about. We tell a whole different story the first 50 minutes of this movie. You don't get that it's revenge and retribution and a horror to the last 45 minutes of it. The first 50 minutes of it, if you got a heart, you're going to be hurting
Facts. Facts.
because it's like you're going to feel the pain that his grandmother felt that she raised this boy since he was 5 days old. She've invested her whole life into his success. And to get that success snuffed out because you got profiled, you didn't do anything. There was no reason for you to end up dead that day outside of an overzealous, immature motherfucker that you ran cross paths with that ended your life, And then to add injury to insult is to not get any justice from it.
Absolutely.
So the whole scenario builds the Bawan. The Bawan wouldn't even be possible without the wrongs that you endured in life and then the wrongs you endured after life. That's what made him exist.
Yeah. That's fire, bro. Well, I already know the answer to this question I'm gonna ask real quick, but um basically, would you rather have 10 million people watch the movie first or a smaller community watch it repeatedly, quote it, dress like the character, and keep mythology alive?
I mean, that's got two answers. As a filmmaker locally, that people support me, that have been supporting me for 20 years, I've got an obligation to make sure that they get the content first. So it's like we live in a day and age now to where you can skip right past the theater premiere, the red carpet, the after party, and all that bullshit.
Yeah,
But I've got an obligation to my friends, family, the actors. The actors want to see themselves on a silver screen. The
absolutely.
fans want to see it on the silver screen. People want to come together and, do Q&A after. Talk about the situation. If I put it directly on streaming platforms, it's almost like social media becomes where people connect when I would prefer everyone connect at the theater because we got a history of putting 600 people in the theater. So it's like, I don't know, this is nationwide. So a lot of people don't know about Youngstown. Youngstown's a very small city. The only people doing those kind of numbers is our main event center, Cavelli Center, that does major productions, major, concerts and things of that nature. So for us to have an audience that's so loyal and supportive, 600 people come out to the theater and then willing to do it again if we run it back. That's something that I got to take into consideration when it comes to how people view this. I want my people that support me to see this movie first. And then we go to the streaming platforms and we go as hard as we can go. We market, we try to get it to where it's outside of Youngstown. Well, really it's going to be outside of Youngstown because this movie setting is actually supposed to be Cincinnati. So we've already got the Cincinnati support on this project. Only people from Youngstown will know, like, oh, that's my guy. He from Youngstown. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But outside of that, the national viewing audience will think this movie was made in Cincinnati.
Right. Which is where you're from.
And I think letting my hardcore supporter fan base be able to get access to it. Because like I said, these same fans been with me since the Refractor. They've been with me for 10 years now,
Absolutely. Well,
so I'm not going to never do anything to make it to where my fans and they don't have access or privy to it, and they don't get to see it until everybody else see it. I want the city that I'm from, Cincinnati and Youngstown, to get exclusive viewing rights of this before it ever hits a streaming platform. We will do a theater run up here in Youngstown, and then we'll do a theater run down in Cincinnati. We're going to make sure that the people that's actually got family members, and we don't do this. We do it for the actors, but the actors are invested in this to the point that they told their mother, their father, their brother, their sister, their girlfriend, everybody that they in this movie. These are all people that I've got a ton of people that support me, but these are people that support them. And why wouldn't I want to have them on the silver screen so everybody that loves them to be like, damn, that's my son up on the screen. That's my motherfucking brother up on the screen. Yo. My brother killed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have to do that. We have to, because we're independent filmmakers. We don't got a ton of money. I can't give you $20,000 to be in a movie, Christian, even though you're worth it. Now, when we get that kind of money, I'll give you that fucking wholeheartedly. Like I told you,
I know you will.
My circle, the same people that work with me now, when we get that budget, it's going to be the same people that's going to work with me then. You know what I mean?
I know.
So
I know.
That's the least I can do is you be like, bitch, look at me up on screen. That's me. You know what I mean?
Motherfucker.
That's me.
Listen. That was a perfect segue because I was going to ask you, tell us about some of the actors you work with on this film. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a perfect segue, my brother. Go ahead. You know
I work with a lot of actors. I mean, we work with a lot of actors, and we work with a lot of different locations. I mean, the most recognized actor that we work with is Diesel. You know, he's been in 80-something Tubi movies. He's considered the king of Tubi, and me and him been working together for 2 years now, and it's like even outside of work, he calls me. Anytime he's in this area, let's link up, let's kick it. You know what I mean? So it's like I've made the type of impression that I was looking to make on him, and he's made the type of impression on me that I was looking to get from him. So it's really just a matter of working with qualified actors and getting my actors all the way up to the point to where I'm putting my actors, bro, when I get the money, and I wouldn't care if I got Denzel in the room. Christian gonna be in the scene with him, going word for word with him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
I believe it. Yeah.
Some of the actors I've worked with, we've worked with lots of Youngstown actors. We've worked with a lot of Cincinnati actors. We just recently traveled down to Miami. We didn't work with anybody down there, but we met a couple people that doors could be open for us to work down there with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
locals, but I mainly took my own cast down there, and it was a production value ideal. Like, hey, let's go down here, and hopefully a couple Miami people watch this and be like, hey, I know that area, and then they recommend it to a friend or family. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
No,
that's what we're looking for.
Miami just helped with the culture. They got a little Haiti out there, Haitian culture. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it helped with the storyline. It made everything make more sense. But mention some of the actors in this movie, brother, in Taboo. Like, what actors you have in this movie? Name them. Other than
Um,
Diesel.
we've got you. We got Diesel. We came across a really, really talented young lady. She is a gem of an actor. Irritasia.
Yep.
Don't too
Irritated,
much care for her name.
Irritated Madison.
But Irritasia is a phenomenal actor. Like, she comes prepared every time. She's ready to work every time, and she's like so thorough when it
Yeah.
comes to, like, there'll be times that I even skip a beat that she's like, hey, that glass was half full and not empty, and
Mhm.
it's like, oh, you're right, Irritation. So it's like, she was phenomenal. We've got Ebony Gordon, that, like, Ebony's been with me even before I was doing movies. I was doing fashion shows and shit like that, and Ebony has been with me for a long time. Ebony is like my go-to person. She is so fucking reliable and dependable, to where it's
Yeah.
like, Ebony, I need you to do this. And she's like, shit, give me a time and a place. And she is right, Johnny on the spot. We've got Danny Rios, which is a legend in Youngstown, as well as in the film community. Danny's done been in too many movies to name. Put it like that. Just
Yeah, I'm about
remember
to
the name Danny
say.
Rios. Danny Rios. And he's been in some of your blockbuster favorites. He's been in The Sopranos. He's been in Spider-Man.
Dark
He's
Knight.
been in so many movies that you're like, damn, this
Yeah.
dude is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Danny's the same way. Me and Danny talk almost every other day. Danny is always eager and ready to, do his thing. And then you got let me see. You've got a couple of
Raven.
guys I've met from Warren that are phenomenal. That they've come into the situation. So we're kind of like trying to grab the next city over and bring
Yeah.
them in as well.
Yeah.
It's really too many actors to name that did fantastic jobs. You got Jim Osso. A lot of these actors, their first time working with me on the Refractor, and a lot of these guys have went on to be in 10, 15, 20 different movies. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Jim's in like 40 movies.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like they've used the platform to catapult as almost like a calling card.
Yeah.
Like, there's pretty much not going to be too many places that you can't, like, okay, prime example. Me and you just now went down to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Well, a couple people
Kentucky.
recognized you, like, hey, bro, you that dude that's in motherfucking body bag, yada, yada, this, that, and other. Nobody
Crazy.
even recognized me.
It fucked me up a
Nobody
little bit.
say
I was
nothing
like,
to me.
yeah, I was
And
like,
then,
what?
and then I say, okay, let's go over to Kentucky, visit one of my friends and shit like that. We get over to Kentucky in the projects. They recognize you over there. So it's working in the sense that it's like, we did proof of concept.
Yeah.
We've established that Christian can do this shit. Now we've given him a platform to where he can grow. So
Yes.
moving forward, it's like when someone calls you, they're calling you because of what we did. And you
Absolutely.
got to take that into consideration when it comes to you booking other kids. Is this me moving forward, or is this me moving backwards?
Backwards, right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Moving forward would be someone calling you and say, hey, bro, I love what you did in Body Bag. I love what you did in Taboo.
Yeah.
I've got an Airbnb for you for the next week. I've got a rental car for you. I've got a flight for you. And I've got this budget for you. I need you to come out and do what you, because when actors get hired, they always get hired of what they did last. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
They're not hiring you because, you've got some actors that go out and they do dry rehearsals and, auditions and shit like that. But for the most part, as a filmmaker, when I'm making a movie, I know exactly who my core cast is going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So with that in mind, each one of you guys have upped your value when it comes to y'all moving forward into the next thing, because everybody that's looking at you and appreciating you, they're appreciating you for what you did previously.
Yeah.
And they're looking to
Absolutely.
hire you for those reasons. They don't want you to, I'm a little bit different. I want you to do different things. I'm not going to hire you for what you did in
Same
another
shit. Yeah.
production, this, that, and
Right.
the other,
Right.
But for the most part, 90% of the filmmakers are going to hire you because they typecast you for what you did in another project. They like the way you argued with a broad. They like the way you finessed the situation. They like the way you walk, talk, and move. They're hiring you because of what you did in another project,
Yeah.
And for the most part, they want you to be that same character in in their project. They just want to give you a new name.
Big facts though.
So that's food for
I
thought for you to think
apologize,
about.
guys. Ari's gonna be at fucking 8 o'clock.
Oh shit.
Okay,
Well,
guys.
well,
Excuse me.
yeah.
At 8 o'clock. I got to get
Yeah.
back to my editing.
All
I,
good.
I, I done wore this hat too long. I got to put my editing hat back on.
It's all good,
Nah,
brother.
you're good,
Listen,
brother. You good? Like
we
I wanted,
appreciate
I
you
wanted
coming
to
up
hype
here,
you
man.
over and everything.
As
But yo,
always,
it's
man, I
all
love you
good. Like
guys,
yo,
man. Y'all fantastic, phenomenal. We got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
I never communicate with somebody that I don't have intentions on doing more work with. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
Christian, man, you
absolutely,
talk every day.
man.
We got a lot of work to do. Burrow,
Yes, sir.
bro, you've been on set. You've been
Yo,
doing a phenomenal job. You've been helping out a whole lot. You know what I mean? It's like
you already
you
know,
wearing
bro.
hats right now. Like you're doing
Yeah.
all kind of shit that's helping out on set. So moving forward, I can't wait to work with you guys again. I can't wait to work with everybody that's on this production again. And let's be great, man. Let's take everything that we did and learned on this production, apply it times 10.
I appreciate you, bro.
Right.
Like I said, dog, you always come through for me. You always giving us game. You know what I'm saying? You gave Burrow a shot, gave my girl Megan a shot, you know what I'm saying?
Man,
And
she killed that shit.
they all did great, you know what I'm saying? So Clock can spot a star, you know what I'm saying, mile away. We just happen to be working with a lot of great directors in the area. And Youngstown got a lot of great talent, man. We got a lot of
It
great
does. It
talent.
does.
Ohio, period, does. So we thankful, man. We appreciate you coming on the show. We wish Ari would have been here on time, would have asked both of y'all questions at the same time, but he's Jason. Jason knew what he
Yeah,
wanted to do, I
man.
guess.
He probably
And,
trying to
and,
strangle some motherfucking
It's a
skinny
broad,
white chick
yeah.
in Crystal Lake Woods.
But yeah, man. Any
don't worry,
last
man.
statements you
We'll
want to
make it
give before you
happen,
leave,
man.
brother?
We'll definitely make it happen.
um,
Any last words?
if I'm talking directly to you, we got a lot of work to do. You know how I am with me and
Yes,
you,
sir. Yes,
Burrow.
sir.
We got a lot of work to do. We got situations that we need to fucking do what we got to do as far as to get to the next level.
Yes,
If I'm
sir.
talking to the viewing audience, I appreciate you
Absolutely,
guys and all
man.
your support. I appreciate, everybody watching it and giving all the actors an opportunity to entertain you,
Thank y'all.
and
Thank y'all.
I think we got more to do for you guys. I mean, they really ain't seen the magnitude of what it is that we have in mind. If we get an investor to take us to the next level and get us there faster, then that's cool. But with or without an investor, bro, we 14 million views in. They know what we doing. So even creating a Bawan, our fans are gonna be like, yeah, them the guys that's in the motherfucking body bag of house. So we're gonna get views regardless. So we really just want to appreciate all our fans, and we want to appreciate all our supporters, because without them, you know what I mean,
We love y'all.
it ain't what it is. So at the end of the day, you know what I mean, we want to appreciate all our fans and supporters, and we want to
Man,
appreciate all our actors as well, you know what I mean. So
well,
everybody's doing great.
this episode was to appreciate you, my man. Let you know that we definitely appreciate
Yeah,
you.
for real, bro.
Burrow, my girl, myself, you know what I'm saying? All the actors who work with you, you're a pleasure to work with. You know what I mean? You try to keep us on a straight and narrow path to success and help us, with insight that we'll have to go to New York or somewhere else to get. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, my brother. You know what I mean? I want to let you know that myself.
It can happen right here at home, man. We don't gotta extend ourselves too far. This shit can happen right here at home, you know? And all it takes is a little bit of cooperation and collaboration, you know?
Thanks,
And
brother.
I'll leave on that note. If everybody can get out their feelings, we can get past this shit and move faster on
Amen.
everything. You know what I mean?
Amen, man. That's what I'm
So
saying.
it's like
Big
we
business this
really
year,
can
man.
be great, you know?
Yes, sir. Big business this year, man. Well, this is the man, the myth, the legend, Quad Daniels, signing off. Peace
All
out,
right,
You
brother.
already
fellas.
know, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you having me as a guest.
Now give me my theme music. Not for the